That's another way of using that.
But I'd love for you guys to try put a little loop with the violin on this one.
Right.
Would you try?
Okay, yes.
Okay, so it's just whoop. Okay.
Yeah, that's Soji. It's in private beta. If you know, it's invite only. But if you're my friend, just text me. I'll send you the link.
This is so exciting. This is so exciting for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want me to do the same thing and then we'll
So-
see how
For
it
instance,
sounds?
yeah.
We could do that, yeah. Also, if you notice, you see it, it's cool. Don't kill it, don't kill it.
Why? No, it's a moth.
It's a moth.
It's a moth.
So kill it.
Kill it.
Do you want to do it the way we've done it with the beat?
No.
No?
Oh, you want a beat to it? I can
No,
give you a beat.
I don't need.
I could add a tempo to it.
No, you just play. When you're done, you press stop and then do
And
a
then
loop,
we'll
and
do
then
the
you
second
add.
track.
You want me to give you like
Yeah.
a 1, 2, 3, and then click, so then you'll know that you're on the.
I'll give you and you know.
Okay, you'll give
Okay,
me.
you go.
I'll be your metronome.
You do you.
Go ahead.
So now we can add another loop onto that.
As soon as you press, it will actually start from the beginning. So you just say when.
Cool.
So it's like having two people playing it. So to have having like a guitarist and then imagine if you do some adjustments to the first.
Then here you can
To the
just
first
pause it.
recording, yeah.
You should be able to pause it. For some reason, not pause. But you should be able to pause it here, and then you can clear the last track, and you can redo it, and you can also add effects. There are like some effects.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about. You can hear them very, very well as well.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's okay.
That's fine because it's all music related.
And can you hear this? You check the mics, right? So it's good, like, with that.
Okay.
So this is your show. You're gonna start. You're gonna hold the mic, and you're gonna pass it on.
Hi everybody, I'm here with Hannah and Shiran.
Hi.
Hannah I just met. She just had this amazing violin, and we'll hear about it soon. We're at Inbar's place. Inbar is a classical musician, and I'll put a link probably somewhere. There's Inbar. He's a pianist. We just came back from a retreat. And so Shiran is our super user actually on Soji, and I want to know what excites her about especially loops and making those cool sounds that she does. But before, maybe we'll have a little bit of background. Shiran, why don't you start? How did you get into music? What is fun for your music? A little bit about that.
So, wow, this feels so formal. So how I got into music. I guess music came from home. My dad is a musician, so it was very like kind of in the house, around the house. And then as I kind of grew older, I wanted to get more engaged and involved with it. So I started learning how to sing, and then I played a guitar. And then slowly I started getting into gear and getting into audio and then getting into production. That was like the next step for me. And I used to think that, oh, once I learned this, I would be okay. But it's a never-ending learning process, at least how I see it. And there's always stuff that you could experiment with, gear, apps, for example. That's something that I've been very, very much interested recently in mobility and trying to think of creative ideas and having it on my phone and having ways to write it down or just so I could remember it, or I have this idea of like a hook or a key or a rhythm. So for me right now, the whole apps together with gear, combining these things, making these things go hand in hand has been really a big part. That's why I'm so excited about this whole Soji project. And it also goes aligned with a lot of what I try to do. I try to do always creative stuff that is outside of the box. And maybe she wants also.
Yeah, sure. So we just met.
About 6 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, basically, outside of the box is exactly the sentence that I was waiting to hear. Basically, I relate to that a lot. I come originally from musical family, and music is a kind of context of our life. You know, nobody would ask me, would you want to play an instrument? You know, it's obviously that I'll have to play an instrument, which one? So when I was 5, I decided that I'd like to play the violin, and I got it for my birthday, and ever since then, it's been my partner, and I come from a complete classic background. When I was 19, I'm not telling you when that was, it was quite a while ago. I I came to Israel, and suddenly I got exposed to this massive variety of music that wasn't just classical one. It was Irish, it was music from Northern Africa, and you name it. And I just fell in love with it, and I decided that I have to explore other things rather than being a musician that reads notes. And there you go, now I play live on DJ, blues, jazz, you name it, and I love it. I love to improvise, and this is my latest baby. It's a custom-made violin and viola. It's a hybrid with all sorts of buttons there, so you see I'm also getting there into the button mode. And yes, I love it. It sounds fantastic, and yeah, let's see what we can do with it.
Let's do it. Do you just want to jump in,
I just want to
maybe
say something.
yeah?
Okay.
Go ahead.
So,
I don't know. You've met before, right? You just met a six
We
X.
met, no, actually we met now. I mean, we met. Yeah, we spoke now. She was here also in preparation of the midburn, right? So that's where I saw her. But we didn't talk before, just now.
Okay, so what I'm interested in. Okay, so you probably don't know about the app and like what we're doing this for. So.
No, I have no idea.
So my brilliant friend here, over here, David, he has an amazing app that basically allows you to create loops and also play with audio and add effects and a lot of like stuff that you see this little, I don't know if you could see it on camera, this device, but if you can't see it on camera, it's basically you can show it? Okay. So you see this little device here. So this is called RC505. It's a loop station. So what his app does is he made that in like a compact way, you know, having an app in a phone where you can create loops and create all these tracks. So that's what we're doing. We're kind of talking about that together with like music, and maybe we're gonna try some stuff, and we're gonna go over the app and like see like if it piques your interest, because this is the first time you're hearing about our app, his app. I took it off my. I don't care. I don't care.
It's our app. Listen,
It's our app.
it's been built like basically with the feedback of the community for the community.
Yeah.
It's the place where you can easily create, enhance, and share your audio. You know, we're building it because we're part of this music community, but it can also work for podcasts, news. It doesn't really matter. You can tell stories on it. It's like Instagram for audio. You press a button, you record stuff, and then you have some effects on it. You can have some background music. In the future, there's going to be a lot of the mixing and done by an AI, so it will sound better over time as we progress. And of course, we take you guys' feedback to make the interface the way that is ideal for you. Like
Sounds fantastic.
trying to strike like a balance between being really simple but still powerful, so that everything that is repetitive and can be done by software doesn't have to be done by a person. So it's like that's the idea.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy to show it to you later.
Yeah, so I was thinking, since...
But so one reason just for you, first of all, you're the power user. I think you make the most Sojis.
Yeah, I'm obsessed.
So Soji is what we call the audio creation, the content pieces. And you're also somebody who's really into this looping thing.
Yeah.
And that seems to be something that people use. We didn't really think about looping. We just thought to build like a better voice note where you can add a second track. But then we had it loop so that while you add the second track, you can just hear the first one. And yeah, so then Shiran started using it and talked about this. What was the name?
So the RC505.
The RC505. So go ahead, take it away.
So since we have somebody that hasn't done this before, right? Oh my God, police.
Neighbors.
The neighbors.
I think there's still
Let's see.
musicians coming.
There's still, yeah, we have a party going on downstairs, so you're gonna hear a lot of music in the background. Hello. We have no drugs.
I think they coming to ask for like a
Particular.
music piece.
Aha, and he's shirtless.
Yeah. Shirtless music.
Shirtless music.
All right. Let's do it.
So since this is kind of like, this would be an interesting way to see like the whole shoji live demonstration because like I said, it's kind of similar. Have you ever done looping? Have you ever tried looping musically?
No.
Would you like to try?
Yes.
Okay, so what I could do is I could clear out a channel for you. Right, let me clear out a channel for you. And I could give you like a quick count, or you want to like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then like, or if you, I'll do that for you, okay. So I could give you a count, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'll start the loop. And you want like a 1 bar measure, like of something basic? Like,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
then like,
I have an idea.
you have an
I
idea?
of what I'm
Okay. So we're gonna try to see if I can catch up here. And if it doesn't go the first round, we'll just delete it, we'll try it again, so. Okay.
1 second, let's do it until we'll do.
We could do,
Let's do 2 bars.
you know what, I could even give you a tempo, so. I could give you a tempo, right, if you want. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, with the idea of shoji, which is. I don't need. Okay, fine. So I could give you. Is this a good rhythm for you? Sure. Yeah. Yeah. We could do. Okay. So I'm gonna give you a rhythm. You're gonna. Oh, sorry. Let's give you 120 BPM, kinda somewhere in the middle of that. Is that fast? Is that good? Okay. 1, 2, 3. So now it continues on looping, and then we could add other tracks to that. Like you could add a solo piece to that. Okay. So that's fun. So now we could add other stuff. You want to try other stuff? We could do like a beatbox. We could do. That's too loud for now. No, so that's kind of the fun part of it. Okay, you want to do another like a. As you could see, like that's kind of like.
That's looping. Have you done that before at all?
No, but I'm quite good with arrangements. I used to, yes. I used to teach in Conservatorium for about 11 years, and I was a conductor for orchestra of little children. So that's what I used to do. I used to take a piece of music, and I would separate it to different parts, and basically depending on what children can play. And yes, I would write different parts for different levels and for different instruments, so I can hear it in my head. And actually, that's super useful. That would have been super useful, and it is super useful. I love it.
I want to get the app out.
Yeah. Okay, so he's gonna get the app out. Yeah. So, as David is doing that, I am going to talk about something. What am I going to talk about? Okay. Why do I like this app? Why do I like this app? Because it's this, just on the phone, without all the cables.
It's gonna have to, like, I didn't think we'd use it, so I'll just charge it here, but it doesn't matter. But tell us a little bit, what do you like most about this stuff? How did you get into it? I mean, about the looping. How did you get into it? And maybe, so what do you like most? How do you get into it? And is there something really surprising that you learned that you wouldn't have expected before?
So, how did I get into it? I think me and you come from different, I guess, music genres, because I think I come from more like the poppy stuff, where you said you come from classical. But when you talk about song arrangements or, classical musical arrangements, there's always this level of layering, right? This goes and then this goes and then that comes in and then that comes in, right? So there is, the element of looping actually is the same thing as you'd say production or even composition.
Yes, actually, I have something very interesting to add, I think. We all heard ta-ta-ta-tam, and then we all know what it is. We all know that it's Beethoven. So basically, why do we all know that it's ta-ta-ta-tam and Beethoven? Because of repetition, and our brain loves things that come back. We feel related to that. So I know this conductor who actually counted, and he said, I don't want to make a mistake, but in this symphony, the ta-ta-ta-tam motive comes about 175 times, if I'm not mistaken, in different ways. So isn't it a looping? And we're talking about Beethoven. So this is the looping. This is something that our brain relates to. This is something that we always try to catch. This is something that comes back, and suddenly we feel, I've heard that before. What else can I do? This is like a pattern. So once we catch this pattern, we have confidence to work and to create more. So this is why I think this is such an amazing idea. This loop is it's just so natural.
Looking for patterns also in some sense is a survival drive, like human beings always try to make sense of the world, and you see it in babies and little kids. Like babies love repetitive stuff, the same words over and over. Adults too, right? Or even watch the same babies, like small kids like to watch the same YouTube videos over and over, or go to the same play over and over, right? And it's also how we learn language in the first place, is by hearing it again, yeah, right. Or some others that, use their kids as an excuse to do it, Yeah, so it makes total sense that it would feel good to us. And actually I was the other day on some, I don't really remember the exact phrase, but there's somebody who runs basically over the top hits from the last year, and then he does it with software, and he analyzes it and sees what are the patterns that repeat and what makes hit songs, and they're extremely repetitive. It's it's very interesting. Even though, also Bach, you have all kinds of patterns that repeat all the time. They're like reversed, half speed, it's all the same patterns, in some sense.
At the time, the music, it wasn't about emotions. It wasn't about emotional world. It was about, it was religious. It was Christianity ruled Europe at the moment, at that stage. So with Bach, I would call it more of techniques. But about repetition, I think that um, about 30 years ago, as we know, something new about a song or about a band would make it wow, and people would be ecstatic about it. Now, even the algorithms of Spotify is to find something that sounds like. So for some reasons now we are in 21st century, we're coming to this repetition and to something that already sounds familiar. Actually, I could do my PhD based on it. It's actually a very good point. How come that we got there? But you know, this is the reality. This is how it goes, and I think it really suits the times. It really suits the times. This repetition. So, as they say, what's your ta-ta-ta-tam? You know, they say that we have different thoughts that keep coming back, and that we have to find out what's our ta-ta-ta-tam, like with Beethoven. So that's exactly it. So.
Yeah, also there's the four-chord pop song. I mean, there's like different variations on it, of course. Do you feel that music becomes simpler and simpler with time? Do you think eventually we'll have a one-chord song? I mean, I'm excited to see what happens, because we're, in a sense, with our project, we're trying to give everybody the opportunity to make music that, you know, sounds somewhat like a professional recording. So I'm really excited to see what comes out. Maybe some completely crazy thing comes out. I don't know.
The answer that I would give personally is, I think it all depends on the time when we're living. As I said, if in 17th century it was all about religion and Christianity, and later on it was all about emotions, and later on it was about revolutions, and later on it was all about the war and Hiroshima, Nagasaki, you name it. The music was, so, you know, it's always like a mirror. So now, in our days, I think we got to the point where, thanks to all these electronic devices, we can experiment with frequencies. We can experiment with other things that before were just unheard of. So I don't know, have you ever heard of ghost frequency?
I've heard that there's like a frequency to ghost where like it's electric frequencies.
Oh, yes. Some people are sensitive to this low frequency. That actually you can find it on YouTube, and you can run a test. Basically, what happens is our ear, we can't really hear. It's quite low, but the eye starts moving together. It gets synchronized with this low frequency, and it sends this signal to our brain. That brain doesn't really know what to do with it, so the brain decides that we can see someone. Not only that, we have a feeling of a presence of someone. That's quite spooky. So, but can you imagine, a thing like that was only discovered by an accident 20 years ago, and binaural music, and all these devices, they give us a chance to experience music in completely different. It's not about harmony, you know. Once upon a time, it was about harmony, like with Bach. Then it was about melody, and now it's about something else. You know, music evolves, so we have to have new ways of exploring it. So that could be one of them.
I want to say something about that. So I find that very interesting, the creative process, right? You talk about it in the classical world, and we talk about it in the production world, in the pop music. So what makes an idea, right? The first thing where, I don't know, you tell me if you feel the same way, because like I said, we come from different music genres, but maybe the first simple idea, the first little draft that you make starts with a very simple element, with the music, right? So then there is a part where I feel like with technology, there is some place to simplify it also. Because a lot of the times we, as musicians, as people who want to do something creative, we try to take all the tools that we have and put it in one box, and immediately in everything that we can, like, let's just put it all there, right, all the load. But then when you think about some things that are more simple in our day-to-day life, right, when you talk about social media stuff,
when you talk about apps, when you think about these things and how could they go hand in hand with the creative process. So I want to ask you, like, how do you think, what would help you in a creative process, like when you think of, oh, what element would you need for you to better maybe write stuff or build a music, whatever, however you do, how do you, with your work process, what would you think would make it easier for you? Because for me, a lot of the times I am looking for mobility. I am looking for a way to, like, you know, having all of this and all the cables and all the computers and all that. It's great because it gives me so many options. Behave. They're having a party over there. So I'm saying, what kind of tools would be for you, do you think, would be helping you as an artist to create better music and to write better stuff, and simple tools that you would need?
So the mobility is the word number one. Number two, it has to be something quite simple to carry and to deal with. Being a classical musician, you know, I always say that I'm a dinosaur because I produce sound with horsehair. You know, that's
It's very cool. It's still
it is, but how many people like that do you know? You know? So you press buttons, you know, and I have to act like it's all about physics. No, but to be honest, I think that an app that allows me to record things with my phone, to change things with my phone, to change BPM. And you know, again, speaking of repetition and of loop, how do we? What do we start? The first sign, the first rule of a music, when you just start reading notes, like in an orchestra, for example, you see the key, and then you see whether it's 4 quarters or 3 quarters, and this is the loop. This is something that sets your borders, and then you know whatever happens with this loop. So then it's up to you what you're gonna do, how you go into whether it's going to be 1, 2, 3, or 1 and 2 and 3. But this is a loop. Do you know what I mean? So, and of course, ability to record different voices, starting with the bass and then continuing to the, you know, to the high. Yes, of course. Yes, of course it would be. And also for someone who is writing arrangements of different pieces, and it doesn't matter what style it is, it would be amazing to record and then to pre-hear it before I actually put it on the paper, before I actually write it down, or before I perform it. So it would be like a lab. It would be like a lab, like a laboratory before performing, like a homework.
Let me just take off all the effects. Right? So I double time it. Hi-hats and
So then if I'm thinking about arrangements,
I think about what I'm singing here, and yeah, so that's kind of, so it goes, so again, like we have a computer recording. You could do the same things you do here with a computer. I just like to physically feel it. It just, in my head, I'm able to see the bass part, the drum part, and then I don't know.
That's how I see music.
Okay.
That's exactly how I see the music. I see it's like what's called partitura. Cheers, guys. It's I just can see whatever I listen to, it just goes like that, boom, in my head, and I know exactly what the bass is, what the, you know, all the instruments and how the arrangement goes. Basically, I see the whole orchestra in my head. You can see it as different tracks on Ableton or
Right.
Cubase.
Or this way, it's the
Or
same
this,
thing.
exactly. But I can relate to the fact that I would like to.
Simplicity.
Yeah. You know, it's like when you have little children and they sell you this little toy that your kid's supposed to play in a bath, but then it has different colors, different numbers, different shapes, different. And after all, your baby just needs to have a bath. You know, there's no need to have all these like hundreds of things.
Yeah.
Just put and overloading the whole point.
Especially with an initial idea.
Completely.
With
completely.
the initial idea, you need a clean canvas and you need as little as you
Let's
can.
face
to
it,
make
the biggest problem now is the variety and, you know, the amount of information that we can get on any subject just simply by Wikipedia and or just on internet. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the information on each subject just on internet doubles every 2 years. So it's impossible to follow, and it's impossible to use everything. So we actually need to be directed into some particular borders. So I think that's exactly this thing. That's our borders that still has so many, you know, practically unlimited amounts of things built in it. And it would take me quite a while to get into that, I have to say. But again, it's only because I'm a dinosaur, a blonde dinosaur. But I like it.
It's cool. You want to say something?
Yeah, I think it's also the reason of the success of Google is that the information is just too much. You have to have some way of sorting it and filtering it and getting to what you want, or
Also,
what is
goes back
most
to the
helpful.
voicemail things. You said one time, oh, I have
Too many voicemails. Like I want to record. Like I'm my sounds. I have this voicemail and then another voicemail. And who gets the time?
time to look into that.
Yeah, and bless my parents, by the way. You know, you guys are awesome. But sometimes I get 5-minute voice messages, and in minute 4 and 30 seconds, there's some address or birthday of a cousin or something. It's like impossible. You know, it's like, I mean, sometimes I wait for. I can't even listen to that. You know, it's like, yeah. So that's something that was part of the initial idea of this app. We said. And also sometimes I get negative stuff from a particular friend,
Particular friend.
yeah.
Particular.
Well, we don't have to say names, but like
Well, you
there's
know who you
everybody.
are.
Everybody know he probably doesn't, but everybody has this person that likes to complain, right? So we thought, how can we make it that how can we have a chat app where the only thing you can send is 12-second long positive stuff? So we thought, okay, we add background music, make it happy. You know, they can choose between certain emotions, happy, excited, you know, all the positive stuff. And then it's like 12 seconds and that's the limit. And, you know, if the other person doesn't listen to it, it just disappears. And if you want to keep sending, after 3 messages, it's over. Like, that's it. If the other person doesn't respond, then okay. So, you know, it's like a conversation on a party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if I speak to you and you don't respond to my thing and I say 2 more things and you don't respond, okay, at some point I kind of should get the hint, right?
That's another way of using that.
But I'd love for you guys to try to put a little loop with the violin on this one.
Right.
Would you try?
Okay, yes.
Okay, so it's just whoop. Okay.
Yeah, that's Soji. It's in private beta. If you know, it's invite only. But if you're my friend, just text me. I'll send you the link.
This is so exciting. This is so exciting for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want me to do the same thing and then we'll
So-
figure out
For
the
instance,
sound?
yeah.
We could do that, yeah. Also, if you notice, you see it, it's cool. Don't kill it, don't kill it.
Why? No, it's a moth.
It's a moth.
It's a moth.
So kill it.
Kill it.
Do you want to do it the way we've done it with the beat?
No.
No?
Oh, you want a beat to it? I can
No,
give you a beat.
I don't need.
I could add a tempo to it.
No, you just play. When you're done, you press stop and then do
And
a
then
loop
we'll
and
do the
then you
second
add.
track.
You want me to give you
Yeah.
like a 1, 2, 3, and then click, so then you'll know that you're on the.
I'll give you and you know.
Okay, you'll give
Okay,
me.
you give.
I'll be your metronome.
You do you.
Go ahead.
So now now we can add another loop onto that.
As soon as you press, it will actually start from the beginning. So you just say when.
Cool. So it's like having two people playing it. So to have having kind of like a guitarist and I mentioned if you do some adjustments to the first
Then here you can
to the
just
first
pause it.
recording, yeah.
You should be able to pause it. For some reason, not pause. But you should be able to pause it here, and then you can clear the last track, and you can redo it, and you can also add effects. There are like some effects.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about. That if you
because
want to
it's
add
still-
effects.
This is still the old version. I haven't updated. You see, it shifts the pitch.
Yeah.
Okay, that doesn't work so well. The delays and stuff.
Yeah, well, cool.
And then
cool.
once you're done, you can send it to. You can publish it.
Can I collaborate? Can I invite friends to collaborate?
In the future, you'll be able to build on top of what other
That would be
people built. At the moment,
fantastic.
not. Yes.
That would be fantastic.
You can publish it publicly. Can I publish it?
Listen, feel free.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
have my permission.
So I'll publish it. So and then what do we call it?
Live test violin classic.
One.
No, it's not a. It's,
One. One. Just the live one. Like call it live one.
Live one.
Live one. Now on Spotify. Live one.
Live one. All right. So I'm publishing that. So now it goes to the public feed. You can also save it privately. You can share it also directly on WhatsApp as a.
You're going to be
audio
able to add
track.
a click to it, right? With like headphones. Where you
Yes.
connect your headphones and then you
Yeah,
can play
yeah,
the
yeah.
headphones with a click. And then it would be, I think, easier for you to.
It would be yes. So there would be no delay.
Yeah, because I guess for me, a lot of when I started doing the looping thing, one of the hardest things was keeping rhythm.
That was my next question.
Yes.
It was about the
Yes.
latency. Mm.
So I mean,
The latencies. I mean, the latency is always. It's like. How do you say? Like you need to decide between having a large buffer size and having no skips and no, you know. If the buffer size is too small, you can get like strange sounds and skipped. You miss information. And if the buffer size is, yeah, basically it's like if the buffer size is big, then everything is perfect, but there you have high latency. So that's like the trade-off you have. So at the moment we have a solution I think that works, because then also of course the better the quality, the larger buffer you need, right? So as at the moment we have basically CD quality on it, like what you'd have in a CD, and then in terms of resolution, and the latency is okay. So it's below, I think, I don't want to lie, it's below like I think 50 milliseconds or something like this, but I can look it up. Yeah, so that's what it looks like. We just published it to the feed, and on the feed, if you click here on the bottom left, it will load the feed depending on the speed of the internet, and there are I published it under Inbar's account. So that's basically what the feed looks like. And then when it's loaded, it starts playing. It's like a little bit. That's you, yeah. That's
bound
you.
to credit.
Yeah. No, I occupied his account.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's cool. And I could say that from on my end, I'm a compulsive gear buyer. And I like to buy a lot of apps, especially apps that do mess with audio. So I tried a few looping apps because it's a thing that exists, and I have yet to see something that allows me to do that in a social aspect. So the fact that you can post it, which they added, and I everything that I want changed, I'm like, David, can you add this to your app? David, I want this. David, I want this. So the fact that it's like a social thing, and then you can collaborate with musicians. You could send like
That would be
a
amazing.
raw track and be like, okay. So then for running ideas between each other, communicating between each other,
Even for the next lockdown.
yeah, for the next lockdown. Well, we don't
Okay,
know.
let's-
This might happen. Let's not be pessimistic.
That wasn't a joke. by the
I
way.
know.
And it's very, very important. It's extremely important.
There we go.
for all, thank you, for musicians to collaborate and to continue to create music,
Especially overseas.
especially overseas, or when musicians don't have chance to meet up and to have rehearsals together or meetings up together. So that's like a real lab.
It's also a lot of my friends are musicians, and I have this opera singer that Tigan, our friend, and he basically he used to, at the moment not so much, but he used to send on a daily basis himself
that.
singing.
I love
It's fun. It's really fun. We had this thing where we didn't speak. We sang to each other, even information like random stuff, and yeah, it's also part of it. Like I like listening to him. I like listening what you do. I like listening to what Michael Rose does whenever he brings something out. It's really amazing. Or all the others, Igal, there are like tons of musicians that they post stuff, and one thing is on Facebook, one thing is on Instagram. There's no real voice kind of platform, so I think that's really important. It's like a personal radio station of your friends and people you like to follow. They can be famous, you can follow them, but and it's really much more personal. So I think that's something that is really missing, and I hope that a lot of other people think that too, and then we'll see. I mean, time will tell.
Yeah, definitely time will tell.
Do you want to is there other stuff that you want to ask or like pointers that you'd like? Because I mean, I've been using from the moment this app came out and we were able to download it, at least the close group friend. I was invested. I've been invested. I'm really enthused. I'm not really involved in the project, but I'm very much passionate about this. And I guess it's so interesting to see me who's just I've been using it for a long time, and her trying it for the first time and seeing the concept, and then
I would love to have some time to try and use it properly.
yeah.
You can try and use it properly.
To play around with it.
Yeah, we don't have to watch you do that, but you can. I mean, or we could, but you can play around with it on
There's
the
a few
phone
people on that.
as
so
much
it's
much
not
as you want, of
private,
course.
Social.
I also want to say, you're, I think, the only one. Did you call me or send me a voice message? I got from you, not the only one, but one of the few people who, when we had 7 users, complained that their Sojis were gone because we changed something on the database.
Exactly.
And you sticked with this
I-
with us, even though it crashes. And
I don't care.
I mean, it's a lot better now, but
I know,
it was horrible. It's and you still loved it and made cool content. That's
I guess
amazing.
because I think for me,
I mean, also, I'm a big music nerd, but for a living, I don't do this for a living. I do digital marketing, so I know it takes some time to develop stuff, and I know it takes some time for developers to make the formula perfect. But I put that aside, and I'm looking at it from not just the business point of view, but also from a creative point of view, from what I find interesting. I am very much audio driven. I told you this. Even on social platforms, I don't like too much to take pictures. I've never been a person that, I like taking my pictures or videos, but audio, I feel very comfortable. Sending people audio messages, music stuff, I always felt more comfortable. So even when it's glitching, because you're still at the beginning of figuring all of the formula to make it perfect, I see the vision of it, for me, at least from my point of view. So yeah, expect more rants from me on. You're gonna expect a lot of me. I want this better.
That's great. Who really loves also the voice changing filters, especially the pitch changing stuff.
Yeah, it's fun.
That's my kid. He loves it. He really laughs about it. And then also somebody made movie tracks on it, as if acting as if there's a movie. One is really in a world where ruled by zombies. One man found out it's in a world ruled by zombies. All the time. Where zombies rule the world. Oh, this is that's crazy. One man figured out what zombies really want, and that is to cuddle. Zombies want to cuddle. Soon in a cinema near you. It's complete nonsense, and then but with cool background music, and there's really creative
It's
stuff
just
on
fun.
it. And then,
Party invitations you made. If you party invitations,
That sounds
like
like a fantastic
party.
idea.
Yeah, it's awesome.
so people just go crazy.
It's audio cards,
Yeah.
Instead of sending
Right.
cartoon cards, this is audio cards.
Yes, you can do happy birthday, you can do good morning. Actually, we're working on some crazy stuff, but I'll tell you after the interview because I don't want to, it's not so public. Yeah, there will be a lot of really, really fun stuff where you'll have something that kind of resembles you, but that is generated by a machine, and that's going to be very interesting, I think.
That scares me.
Yeah, we'll see.
That-
So I did
that
now
scares
update the app meanwhile, and so there's like the newest version. If you want, you can play around with it a little bit, or we can close the interview and you do it in your own time. It's like I'm happy to show it. Yeah. All right. So that's it for today. Thank you so much,
Pleasure.
Hannah.
It was a very, very good surprise for me.
It was so nice to meet you, get
Completely
to know you a little
Yeah.
bit.
Completely unexpected.
Yes, the violin is awesome. We'll also go down. We'll play some more music. Shiran, our super user.
Super user. Obsessed.
Shiran makes the most Sojis by
Shiran
far.
makes the most. Shiran's a paladin at this point.
All right.
Shiran is an investor at this point.
Yes. So if you like the stuff, if you want to check out Soji, I'll post the link, I think, to the downloads for my friends. I'll post this to friends. And you can also support us. I'll post another link where you can support us. It's still open for 2 days, where basically you get a ridiculous deal on everything that is to come in the future for a one-time payment, like basically as an early supporter. All right, thank you guys. Amazing.
Thank you. Wow, what a surprise.
You guys rock.